I've been doing a study by Francis Chan on the book of Ephesians. I've watched about 3 of the teachings so far, and he's still in the first chapter on the book of Ephesians. And it's really deep. He's really good. You can watch him or find him on at Crazy Love Ministries on YouTube. Highly recommended. He's super, super good, and he really gets deep into this. But he's talking about in Ephesians, in the first chapter. I'm still in the first chapter, but in verse 5 of Ephesians, it says, having predestined us unto the adoption of children by Jesus Christ to himself, according to the good pleasure of his will. I think a lot of people believe predestination means that you can just do whatever you want. You've been chosen. God set you apart, so you're good. You're free. You've got liberty. You can do whatever you want, behave however you want, make whatever choices you want, and you're saved because you were predestined to be saved, to go to heaven. So you're fine. Just do whatever you want. Live however you want. Okay, I never believe that's what any of this means. That's not what Francis Chan means. That's not what I mean, or Ephesians means. I do not believe. And I don't really understand it a whole lot. And that's not what this is about. But the predestination, Francis Chan said it so beautifully. He said it was like God said, Teresa, you have been set apart for me before I ever said, let there be light. And the thought of that is just so beautiful. And that's what it says. Before the foundation of the world, God knew you. So just think, he was reaching out to you and thinking of you and designing a future and a purpose in a life for you before he ever said, let there be life or light. I'm sorry, let there be light. So that's just so exciting. But it made me get to thinking about all the people in my life who have influenced me, the decisions that I've made, choices, actions I've made, parents, grandparents, great-grandparents, all the generations before me have made to get me here at this point in time in my life, and what decisions was made to get you where you are, wherever that is, wherever you live in the world, whatever your family background, your history is like. A whole bunch of decisions and a whole bunch of things came together to have you end up where you were. On my ancestry, I am mostly my big 3, as you can probably kind of tell by looking. I am German, Irish, and Scandinavian. I know, who would have guessed? Anyway, what if one of my great grandparents in Ireland had decided not to immigrate to America? Or what if someone in Scandinavia, which we believe it's Finland, according to my mother's ancestry, what if someone in Finland had made a different choice and not came here, and all those other little things that come together? One little thing that would have changed that could have been a difference for me today. Every single action, interaction has led to me sitting here talking to you today on YouTube. And it's mind-boggling when you think about it. Well, it really got me thinking about growing up and all the people that influenced me to become a Christian and to live the Christian life. And I believe that God knew all this was going to happen. It was predetermined. He knew all the little teeny tiny threads that were going to come together that were going to bring me in this place and time. I grew up the second daughter out of 4 to a working class family in a little forgotten town, in a little county. There's only probably like 20,000 people today in the entire county. So it's very small, very rural. And that's where I grew up. My parents they just really weren't that wild about being parents to a lot of kids, I don't think. I don't know, maybe, but anyway. But I had some aunts, especially. My grandma Bertie, mother's mother. She was just an amazing, loving, patient, generous as she could be. to all of us girls, to all of her grandchildren. Wonderful lady. And church, as far as church, I have one aunt in particular who took us to church. She was like the main part of getting us into church when we were kids. She was the one who sacrificed her time to get us to Sunday school, VBS. I know she had other things to do. And then that makes me think of all the Sunday school teachers I've had through the years, VBS teachers. I teach VBS. I love it, but it's a sacrifice. It really is. Children's church, Sunday school, it is a sacrifice to get these kids, to get your lesson plan together, get activities, try to find things that they'll enjoy that make them connect with the story. And it's so wonderful, so fun when you see it connect. So I've been thinking of all that and thinking about all the people that connected all of those dots for me back then. Back then, you went to VBS. It was usually during the day because mothers didn't work so much outside the home back then. So you would have VBS like in the late morning, early afternoon. We would have VBS, and it was just kickball and playing and singing and crafts. I remember at one little church in town, my friend Brenda White, it was like 2 blocks from our house. So we would walk there every day. And I remember this little blue vase that I made, this little bud vase. I had that thing for years. And it was from VBS. Somebody sacrificed to teach my class, to pay for the supplies for all the kids that came around the neighborhood. They sacrificed, they gave up their free time, they used their own gas to get us there, all that stuff. People sacrificed, people gave, and God knew. Oh, God knew that's what they were going to do. That's what I needed. A little overlooked little girl in a house with detached parents, and they gave of themselves to get me there, to encourage me, to reach out to me, and to let me know I wasn't forgotten. I wasn't a nothing. I wasn't overlooked. I wasn't in the way. I always grew up feeling like I was in the way. They never made me feel that way. Okay. I don't know where those people are today. Most of them are probably already in glory because I'm ancient, and so they're probably gone on to their reward. But they sacrificed for me. I was overlooked, in the way, a bother, basically, to a lot of people, not just my parents. And I'm not saying they acted that way all the time, but it is what it is, whatever. It wasn't a bad childhood or anything. I'm just saying that's just how they were. A lot of people just aren't crazy about kids. But anyway, that's how I felt, was overlooked and in the way, inconvenient. But these people sacrificed and gave to a little girl I didn't know. I was just some kid from the neighborhood who showed up, and they gave us Kool-Aid and cookies and paid attention to us. And I think about all the other kids. Me and my friend Brenda, we were not the only kids there. There's a lot of kids from all over the neighborhood came. There was nothing to do in the summer. VBS was like the highlight of the summer. If you never got to go on vacation and do stuff, VBS was great. It was such a break from long, boring Ohio summers. I don't care, global warming, whatever you want to call it. It's always been long and hot. That describes summer in Ohio. Always has been, always will be. They're long and they're hot. And they're boring after several weeks of summer vacation. And VBS was a break from that. That's what I was thinking at the time. But these people whose names I don't remember, faces I don't remember, I had to meet them in heaven and tell them thank you. But anyway, I was not the only kid there. And I just think of all the other kids who were there in Sunday school. They or VBS and Sunday school, they made the same little vases, made the little blue bud vase. Well, I painted it blue, little bud vase, and all the other crafts and the games that we played. All the other kids were there too. Are those kids serving the Lord? Did they get the same thing from VBS that I got from it? Those people who don't remember me and I don't remember them, they planted a seed in my heart. Let me know that I was important. They were glad I was there. They were glad I showed up. I wasn't in the way. They planted a seed in me. Now, statistically, I don't know all the other kids. I don't remember most of them either. But all the other kids who went to VBS, the same VBS, sat through the same classes, they made the same vases, they did all the same, played the same games in the same churchyard that I did. Statistically, most of them are probably not following the Lord today. I'm not judging anybody. I'm just going by statistics. They're probably, most of them probably are not. That's because that's just statistically speaking. I pray I'm wrong. I pray they all are. But statistically, they're probably not. So why? We played the same games. We did the same thing. We learned the same lessons. We had the same wonderful, kind, loving, patient, giving teachers and leaders. Why did they not follow and I did? What's the difference? And I think that's a lot of what predestination means. A lot of us are going to get, and don't, I'm not a Bible scholar. I'm just thinking, mostly I'm thinking about all those people that sacrificed and gave for me. But God knew way, way back before he said, let there be light. He knew in that Sunday school class, that VBS summer, Teresa and kid A, B, and J, they were going to get it. It was that seed was going to take root like the sower and the seed. That seed was going to fall on fertile ground and it was going to bloom and sprout and grow and multiply. God knew that. He knew the kids that were just there just for the games and the punch and the cookies. And he knew the kids that their mamas and dads just said, get out of the house, you're bugging me. That it wasn't going to sit with. Not that he loved them any less. He did not think favorably of me. Oh, well, I know Teresa. Teresa's going to be with it when she's 60. So, no, I show her more favor. No. God loves each and every one of us exactly the same. But he knew which ones. And I think that's what the predestination is. But anyway, listening to Francis Chan, again, at Crazy Love Ministries on YouTube. Look him up. And also, if you're getting value here and you like this, please like and subscribe and feel free to share. But he knew that who was going to be the seed that was going to sprout and grow and multiply, some 30-fold, some 60, and some 100-fold. God knew. He loves each of us. He doesn't want any little kid today to feel forgotten and overlooked. And if you are a parent, a teacher, whatever, and you get the opportunity to teach Sunday school or to teach VBS, don't, or volunteer or drive the bus for VBS or bring cookies or work in the kitchen and heat up chicken nuggets for all those little hollering, noisy, crazy little kids. Don't pass it up. God uses every person. He can use every person who's willing to sacrifice and to give to encourage someone. I always say, if you're not encouraged, be an encourager. But I wish I could thank those people that made a difference to me. I wish I could remember them. I literally don't remember them. Well, I remember them, but I don't remember names. I don't remember, it was a long time ago. But a girl in church Sunday, a girl in church, she's not a girl anymore. She's a young lady, but she hugged me around the neck and she just hold me. And we're both just crying. And she said that I planted a seed in her and her sisters and her family and other kids by teaching, by being there, by loving them, that I've planted a seed. And I was part of the reason of why she's like she is today, why she is serving the Lord the way that she is today, was because a little bit, I'm not giving myself the credit, but because of some of the things that I did to encourage her and to sacrifice and to be there for her, just like those other people back in the 1970s in that little forgotten town in Ohio, made this little girl who felt overlooked and forgotten and in the way. They let me know I wasn't in the way. I was important and special, and they loved me, and that planted a seed. Okay, so that's what, I don't want to cry again. That's what Francis Chan, through his teaching in Ephesians, again, at Crazy Love Ministries on YouTube, that's what I got out of those first 8 or 10 verses of Ephesians, because that's all he's talked about so far that I've heard. That's what I got out of it. It just reminded me of all those wonderful people. And I know this has been a really long video, and I apologize. But I'm just so thankful. God saw me back then. He saw you and your loved ones and your boss and your Sunday school teacher and your police officer and the guy, the state trooper who might have wrote you a ticket last month, but he was doing his job and he was keeping people safe. God saw him before he ever said, "Let there be light." He saw that state trooper, and he saw me, and he saw you, and he saw our pastor, and he saw the guy that performed our wedding ceremony. Oh, I'm just so blessed and so thankful that I wasn't forgotten or overlooked. God knew. He knew what I wanted or what I needed. He knew what I needed before I knew that I needed it, before my great-great-great-great-grandparents knew I was going to need it. Just put everything into place. Again, this has been a really long video, and I'm sorry, but I just got thinking about these people and the sacrifices and just how wonderful they are. If you made it this far, you probably haven't, but if you made it this far, thank you. Put down in the comments if you've ever taught VBS or Sunday school or drove the bus or doled out the cookies and poured the Kool-Aid and whatever else. Have you ever done that? Or do you remember who did that for you? Even if you don't remember their face, you remember somebody sacrificed, somebody gave. So just put that in the comments. Put a little I did it, or VBS, or I remember, or Jesus saves, or thank you, Father, praying hands, worship hands. Leave something in the comments. And thank you so much for making it this far. I apologize. I'm just rambling. But I just feel really blessed and loved today. And thank you so much for watching. Like and subscribe. And I promise the next video will not be this long.